All right. So we're recording now. And so as we review the Genesis chapter 4 account of the first murder, it is very interesting that, Abel kept flocks. Okay. When you're keeping flocks, according to verse 2, does it take a lot of work to keep flocks?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Would think so.
Well, my theory is that, just let them do their thing and, they'll start to multiply. Some work to feed them, or maybe they feed themselves as they graze, but shepherding them. Okay. So that's the kind of work he does. And then the kind of work that Cain did was he was working the soil.
Yeah.
So they both had their own profession, you could say. But then it says, in the course of time, Cain brought some of the fruits of the soil as an offering to the Lord, but Abel brought fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. Okay, so the understanding is that because it says in the course of time, it seemed to be understood that they knew there was a time when they would offer their offerings to the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when they offer their offerings to the Lord, it's like a religious act between them and God. They offer the sacrifice to God. And so it becomes, in a sense, two religions. One is Cain's religion and one is Abel's religion. So we can look at it from that angle, that it represents two religions. But the deeper you get, one religion will be accepted while the other religion will be rejected, right? So it's, in a sense, telling us in human nature, it seems to be part of the design is that there would be the wrong religion and the right religion that we're learning from this. Who had the right religion? Give me an answer, class.
Well, Abel.
Abel had the right religion. How do you know that?
Well, the Lord was pleased.
What?
The Lord was pleased.
Yeah, the Lord accepted it, right?
That's his faith.
So that means Cain, whose sacrifice was not accepted, you can say that was the wrong religion. Just to try to put it in human terms, one religion was accepted and one religion was rejected. Does that happen today in modern times?
Yeah. Yes.
Does that happen throughout history?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, throughout history, man had his own religion. And that's why when Jesus Christ wanted the gospel to be preached to all the world, this was the true religion that was going to be spread throughout the world, because this religion is based on a relationship with Jesus Christ.
Yes.
See? And so people who have the wrong religion hear the gospel. Some of them hate it, but some of them embrace it. And that's been the pattern since the gospel was being preached. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when we're looking at these two as representing two religions and one is rejected, well, the one who's rejected is now having to wrestle with his feelings and emotions. And that's why it says, okay, let me read the part where the Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offering, but on Cain and his offering, he did not look with favor. So Cain was very angry and his face was downcast. So he was angry because God rejected his offering and accepted Abel's. And yet he was downcast. In other words, he was depressed. He was, depressed about it. Because God rejected his offering and God accepted his brother's offering. So that gives you another understanding of the human condition, that when God reveals himself as the one who does not accept your religious offering, your religious practice, there has to be something that you have to work out with God. See, that's a faith lesson. You know, when God corrects your religion or your lifestyle, your faith, your worship, the
And
faith
where,
lesson for us is,
yeah,
what are you going to do about it? You know, yes, you will be angry, maybe. Yes, you could be depressed, but then where do you go from there?
yeah,
And the answer to that is, what we should do is what Psalm 25 teaches, among other things. Teach me your ways, O Lord. Show me your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Guide me in your truth and teach me. See, if you were putting your faith in God and he told you what you're doing is wrong,
yeah,
the faith lesson for you and us is to ask him, what's the right way? It's to acknowledge, okay, I messed up. I gave you the wrong offering. I messed up. So teach me the right way. Show me your ways. Teach me your path. Because I trust in you. I believe in you. Because I have faith in you. I'm going to do the right thing by asking you to help me to do the right thing. You see that? That's why it says, if you do the right thing, will you not be accepted? You think God will accept him if that was his attitude?
Yep.
Yeah, right? That
Yep.
was the right attitude.
Mm.
God, I messed up.
Okay.
Forgive me. Can you please show me the right way? Can you show me the right sacrifice that I need to offer you? See? But instead, he got angry.
Yep.
See? And so he did not do what is right. And because he didn't do what is right, which is, you know, he should have talked to God about it. That's the only thing we know is the right thing to do at that point. Because faith tells you, if you had faith in God, you would talk to him about it. You would have a, you know.
yeah. And also where his heart was, because his heart was definitely not in the right place.
Yeah, there was no faith.
Yeah, that's true.
So faith does give you reasons to act. Faith causes you to act a certain way towards God. And one of them is to talk to God, to pray to God, to learn from God. See, those are life lessons. Those are faith lessons. But it says, since he didn't do what was right, so he stopped focusing on God, about learning to do the right thing. There's sin crouching at your door. Now, when you think about sin crouching at your door, would you be open enough to think that the devil is right there?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
The devil is crouching at his door.
Yeah.
You could say sin and the devil are the same.
Yeah.
So when he's crouching at your door, there's an opening of the door for you to to let sin come in. Sin is crouching at your door. It's like it's waiting for the opportunity for you to open that door.
Yep.
See, that's what happens when you don't do what's right. So he did open that door. It says it desires to have you. So while sin is crouching at your door, it desires to have you. So it wants to take over you. It wants you to do what is sinful. And that's why we are in a spiritual war, right? It desires to control you. It desires to have you. And you've got to do something about it. What does God want you to do? Read the text.
Good.
Huh? Read the
I said,
text, someone.
He said to rule over it.
But you must master it in my translation.
I like that better.
But do you see the war?
Yeah. Yeah.
It still goes on today.
Right there. Yeah, exactly.
Sin wants to rule over you, and you've got to put a stop to letting sin rule over you. And you got 50 years of this. It's not just one time, right? You got 50 years of sin wanting to rule over you, and you saying, no, I'm going to rule. I'm going to master you. I'm going to rule over you. And that's why, I think a lot of times we're so tempted to do what is in our heart to sin. We want to sin, but I think God gives us self-control. Would you agree that there are moments that maybe you want to kill somebody because you're so angry with them, but thank God you don't do it? That's because of self-control. Maybe, road rage, right? Somebody cuts you off and you're so angry you want to ram their car, but because of self-control you don't do it. Maybe a temptation to steal somebody's car or to steal from someone, but because of self-control you don't do it. You see that? And then obviously we can go into every sin in the book. It can be adultery. It can be, we talked about stealing. It could be gossiping or slander. Even to the heart of the matter is when you covet, desire what somebody else has, which produces in you envy and jealousy. And, it's part of sin wanting to reign over you. It says it desires to have you, but you must control it. You must master it. See? And this is part of your spiritual warfare, and you just got to be thankful that God gives you enough self-control to not be out of control and get yourself into a lot of trouble as a Christian. Does that make sense, guys? That it's very important to understand this relationship you have with sin, that it always wants to have you, and you have to do something about it. You can't just be silent, or you just can't ignore it. You have to do something. And the answer here is master it. In Romans chapter 6, it says, don't let it rule over you. So you got to be on the defensive with sin wanting to control you, sin wanting you to sin. And you've got to be able to say, no, I'm not going to let you rule over me.
And it happens so often with myself, Pastor Bird. It's like every time I turn around, it's there facing me again. I go, oh man, again, really? And but yeah, I'll control it, and I'll just say, no, I'm not going to do this. So but then I get caught up again, and it's like, yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
it never
constant.
ends.
No.
It never ends. Nope. So in Romans chapter 6, it says, don't let sin rule or reign over you. Okay, so we got to be on the defensive. But it also says, instead, offer yourself as an instrument of righteousness and offer the parts of your body to God. See, that's the offense. So there's the defense and there's the offense. The offense is offering yourself to God to serve him. And the defense is not allowing sin to rule over you, which I think is why we have self-control. If you didn't have self-control, I find myself in situations that man, I could have gotten myself into trouble if I pursued this kind of sin. But instead, God gave me enough self-control that no damage was caused. See, and that's self-control. The fruit of the Spirit is self-control. So you really got to appreciate the fact that when God gives us self-control in situations where we could have done a lot of sinning or we could have caused a lot of damage, but we didn't do it, then we can be grateful for the fruit of the Spirit of self-control. See? Have you ever been tempted to cuss somebody out?
Yep.
Yeah.
A little bit.
or to punch someone,
Yep.
or that kind of adultery, whatever sin.
So many.
But you don't do it because you have self-control.
Right.
As much as you
All the
wanted to
time,
do
Pastor
it,
Bert.
you practice self-control. What was that you were saying?
I say not all the time, Pastor Bert.
Thank God, right?
Self-control.
And that's why you can measure it in percentage. I
Yeah.
would like to say that out of the 100 times I'm being tempted to sin, wouldn't it be good if I say 100% of the time I never act on that sin? Well, I'll be honest with you. There's a percentage that I do act on it.
That's everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's our sinful nature.
Everybody.
And
That's right.
that's why, when you read Romans 8 and 7 and 8, we're subjected to frustration. We can get into that more at another time, but yeah, there's a reason why, we don't bat 1,000% of the time. We don't ever, bat 1,000, right? In baseball, if you're batting 300, that's pretty good.
Right.
But when
Yeah.
you're dealing with sin, everybody has their own percentage, and nobody bats 1,000 though. Okay, Princess, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to share about self-control because everybody knows about my relationship with my members of the family that you know they talk about lies about me and everything, and they don't
Okay.
talk to me and everything.
Yeah.
So it comes to my mind that I want to get back at them through social media. And then this is
So you want to take
this is
revenge?
yeah, I'm thinking about revenge by going through social media since they blocked me. So it's really painful, especially during Christmas time. No one greeted me and everything, knowing that I'm sick. And so that's my thinking. But I prayed and prayed and prayed. I said, take this thought out of me, my God. I don't want to do it. It will not please you. So please take away this thought of mine. So, it's I was able to control myself and I
Yeah,
didn't do
that's
it.
when
Yeah.
self-control, uh, you know, because again, using this story of Cain and Abel, it's crouching at your door,
Yep.
right? It was crouching at your door to pay them back for all the things they've done to you, take revenge, and it's just waiting for you to open that door so that you would do it.
Mm-mm.
But you kept the door closed in a sense,
Yes.
and
Yes.
you practiced self-control by not going into social media, and you just waited for God to work it out for you.
Yes. And
That's
I
that's your
always pray
Christian
every
journey, and
day.
that's how you deal with sin all the time.
Sister Princess, don't stop down to their level.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Well
I
done.
think that's the
true.
best thing
Yeah.
to do.
Well
Yeah, I
said.
stay quiet even though they attack me. I don't
Uh,
say anything anymore. Unlike before, I really fight with them even in text and social media. But now, no. I thank God for my self-control.
Yeah.
So this is
Okay.
And
where you live out your faith,
yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
dealing with this idea of um, sin crouching at your door, sin wanting to rule over you. Okay, and so You guys understand the defense, right? Don't let it
Mhm.
rule over you. You need to master it, which I believe is talking about the need for self-control. If Cain practiced self-control in this scenario, he would have never killed his brother.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
And Pastor Bert,
He could have dealt with anger. He could have
Yeah.
dealt with depression, but he could have controlled himself enough to not kill his brother.
yeah. And he even has the Lord talking to him, and he says, "Where is Abel, your brother?" And he barks back and says, "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?"
Right.
So
Yeah, at that point, he's already murdered him.
Yeah.
oh, has he at that point?
Yeah, at that point, he's already murdered him.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's what it says. Yeah.
So that's why, God is holding him accountable.
Yeah.
God knows what happened, but he's having him to give an answer.
Yeah.
So
Tell me.
he doesn't
That's what
learn.
accountability is. You give an answer to God.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be honest. But we're not honest because we're all liars. And, the scripture says all men are liars. Remember that verse? And so, rather than answering truthfully, honestly, why are you asking me? Am I supposed to be looking out for him all the time? Am I my brother's keeper?
But you think at that point he could have even said, "So you know what I've done." Something like that. You know what I'm saying? He's not learning. And then even when he gets the punishment, he's complaining about that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't stop. So there's a big lesson there that we always have an opportunity to make a difference. It's up to us, right?
Yeah. So the opportunity to
Whatever the
be
level
honest with God is always going to be the first thing. Be honest enough with God to tell the truth that you're a sinner. And God will still accept you if you put your faith in Jesus. Put your faith in God and Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Cain said to his brother, let's go out to the field.
Right.
See, right there, he's already lost control, right?
Right. He's plotting
Sin
in.
has already entered his house, you could say. And sin has already entered the door. And he's following through with the desire to kill his brother. Sin desires you. Sin desires to have you. And if we can complete the sentence, sin desires to have you kill your brother. But you must master it. Well, he didn't want to master it. He's following through with what sin wanted him to do. See, we have an enemy. It started even in the very beginning, right? With Adam and Eve dealing with the serpent. And so that's why people forget that there's an enemy that does not want to let you know he exists.
Right. He wants us to forget.
Yeah, he wants us to forget that he exists.
Around the corner.
Yeah. And yet here he is, so you could even say Cain has lost control and now sin is taken over. And that's why he says, let's go out into the field. You know what he wants to do.
Right.
And Abel trusted him. Would you agree that Abel trusted him?
Yes.
Hey, Abel, let's go out into the field. It's a beautiful sunset.
Yeah, he was plotting in, wasn't he, Pastor Bert?
Sure sounds like it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And while they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. So if I were to try to speculate an attack, he must have gotten a stick,
A rock.
like a size of a baseball bat or something.
A rock.
Or he could have taken a big rock,
Right? Hit him in the
used
head.
it to slam his head.
Yep.
But the result was what he wanted to accomplish, because sin was controlling him at this point, and the sin resulted in his death.
And the
Abel
devil was
was
standing right
Abel
there laughing.
innocent? Was
Yes.
Abel innocent?
Yes.
Yeah, right. He didn't do anything wrong. He was just,
Right.
going with what his brother said. Let's go over here. Well, we're brothers. Let's go then. And yet, without knowing it, surprise, Cain kills Abel. See how sin works?
Yep.
There's a principle here that you can pick up, that when sin wants to control you, you are in for a fight, because you have to master it. And it's good that most of the time you will master it, but there are times when you will fall, only because nobody bats 1,000. Okay.
Right. Mhm.
Daniel, you have your hand raised. What's your thought? Daniel, you have your hand raised.
Unmute, maybe?
I don't know. He had his hand raised. Where are you? Daniel, did you have? Oh, you took it down. Okay. So in continuing on with the story of how sin wants to rule over you and cause you to commit sin, that's why you're in for a battle. This is the spiritual war you deal with all the time. And how long is this spiritual war? Is it just once? How
Forever
long is the
until
spiritual war? What?
It's forever until we go home.
forever until we die.
Yeah. So you got 50 more years to go in dealing with the spiritual warfare. See, that's why don't be surprised when spiritual war is going on and you have to battle it, because you can't let it rule over you. Brother Daniel, you have your hand raised again.
Pastor Bert, the connection was lost, but just a question, Pastor,
You're all
about
clear now. You sound loud and clear, brother.
yeah, like we all know that the root cause of sin is pride. Is something what happened to them, is pride something to do with it, Pastor Bert?
Well, if you look at sin and the root of sin is pride, sure, it can apply here, because it was out of pride that he responded to God's rejection, right? And
Yeah,
because of pride, he didn't want to ask God for help,
yeah. In my
right?
version, it said he felt rejected.
Yeah. I mean, if you were humble, you would say, God, you rejected my sacrifice. You rejected my offering. Could you please show me the right way? Can you help me? But because of pride, he wasn't going to ask God.
He came out with so angry.
Yeah. Instead, he's still angry about the fact that God rejected him and accepted his brother. He could have been jealous. And then again, out of pride, he was jealous. Out of pride, he was envious, and, all of a sudden he hates his brother because, his brother is looking like God's favorite. And so now I'm jealous and angry and full of hate towards my brother, and
And
all
he
it
was
takes
strict.
is for the brother to say, God rejected yours, but he accepted mine. So I must be God's favorite, not you.
Mhm.
The brother could have said that. That really stirs up more pride and anger and hate, and it stirs up more, depression,
Animosity.
downcast.
Mm-hmm.
See, yeah. So pride definitely can be the reasons for why you don't want to learn. Like I said, this rejection of your religion. What's a religion today? Okay, that if you do not practice their religion, they will kill you.
ISIS.
Okay? So Islam, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Different variations of Islam. I've heard in the Muslim world that if somebody is born a Muslim and then they convert to becoming a follower of Jesus,
They kill them.
they could be put to death.
Yep.
Doesn't that sound like the spirit of Cain and Abel, where, you know, this person, he wants to do the right thing, but because you're leaving and you're disagreeing with his religion, now we want to kill you? Yeah, it's pretty much clear that that particular religion, and not all, right, because we're dealing with different variations, but that particular religion does want to kill you if you leave their religion or if you don't accept their religion. See? So it still happens today. There's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
And we just have to learn to deal with it. Thank God we're in a country that allows us this freedom. But if you were living in another country, yeah, you wouldn't have the same freedom. So, you know, we're blessed that we have our freedom. I mean, look what happened. You guys heard the story of what's going on in Nigeria, right?
Yep.
I mean, those African Christians were being slaughtered. They were being
Slaughtered. Yes, they were.
Why? Why were they being killed? Because they weren't worshiping the other religion.
Oh, yeah.
See? And, you know, it usually goes like this. If you leave Christianity and follow Islam, we're not going to put you to death. But if you don't accept our religion of Islam, then
We'll
yeah, we will
kill
kill you. That's your choice.
Apostasy. They call it apostasy.
Do you see that, right?
Yeah.
I remember watching these Egyptians.
Mm-hmm.
They were being told to wear these orange jumpsuits and kneel on the ground. And each Islamic, you could say, killer, were standing behind each one of them. Let's say there's a dozen of them or more, but they were all on their knees with their orange jumpsuit. They were all Egyptian Christians, and these Islamic murderers had a knife ready to cut off their head unless they convert and reject Christianity. And what these Christian Egyptians did, they said, no, we're not gonna accept Islam. We will not leave our faith.
Hey,
Well,
Pastor Burr, wasn't there? That's an interesting story. Wasn't there a guy there that wasn't even from Islam, and he said that they told him he could leave. The guy said, "Hey, the ISIS or whatever said you could leave," and he goes, "No, I'm not leaving. I'm staying with these guys." Right?
I don't know that story.
Oh,
but
yeah, that's a huge story. It was just a guy that wasn't even. He got caught up in the crossfire, but through the time being with them guys, he got so caught up in the faith, and he started to believe. And so he was like, whatever they're doing, I'm going to do it. So if you want to kill me, that's fine. It's a huge story. Sorry to interrupt
I think
you.
I might have heard it, but I didn't
when was
dig
that?
too deep in that story. But it probably goes along the lines with he was just a neutral person.
Exactly.
But then he was so inspired by seeing these Christian believers willing to die for their faith.
Yes.
That he said, I want to be with them.
Amen. Yep. That's it.
He didn't want to be with the living who were killing, right?
Yes.
These Islamic terrorists were putting them to death with a knife, cutting off their head. These Egyptian Christians said, go ahead and do it because I'm not going to deny my Jesus. So do you see how religion can get that way?
Yeah. Sounds like
You have the
Shadrach,
story of
Meshach,
Cain
and Abednego.
to remind you that there's nothing new under the sun. It was there in the very beginning.
Yep. Sounds
But
like
remember, they're
Shadrach,
brothers.
Meshach, and Abednego, Pastor Bert.
Yeah, so remember, they're brothers. Now, when you're talking about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the book of Daniel,
Mm-hmm.
again, we're dealing with King Nebuchadnezzar telling his people to worship this
Yeah.
golden image,
Yeah. Yeah.
right, which is an idol. And he says, if you don't do it, we'll burn you. See, so there's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
If you look hindsight of this story, first, Abel should have done the right thing and at least have enough self-control to not kill his brother. He could have
Cain should have done the
continued to
right thing.
live with his brother. If you look at it in hindsight, he could have continued to live with his brother, not murder him. He could have learned his lesson that when God rejected his sacrifice, he could have fixed it, allowed to, mature and grow and correct it,
Yeah.
and not be so angry by the fact that God rejected his offering, because nobody's perfect. He could have had that attitude. Well, nobody's perfect, so I could learn, I can correct what I'm doing and, ask God to help me. And they could have continued to live together. But
Satan was very strong, Pastor.
He
sure,
still is.
yeah, sure thing. I mean, especially when you get into the areas of religion,
Yeah.
Right.
that's
He
why
still is.
when you get to areas of religion, be very mindful that maybe people don't want to kill you physically, but in their spirit, if you disagree with them or they disagree with you in spirit, in their spirit they want to kill you. So they might not physically kill you, but they might have this hateful spirit towards you because you're telling them something they don't want to hear.
Yeah.
See? But you also got to be mindful that when you're speaking the truth, you've got to be doing it with love, truth and love. That's why you should always consider love as your motive in telling people the truth. It's very easy to tell people the truth to show them that you're right and they're wrong. Okay. But I think wisdom tells you, make sure you do it out of love.
Mhm.
Okay.
Pastor Bert, that was the first tattoo in the
The
Bible.
first
It
tattoo.
was. It was when God marked Abel. I mean
You want me to
Cain.
read that part?
When God marked Cain, yeah, he marked him.
Okay, let me read
That's a
that part.
tattoo.
We're kind of wrapping it up. So
Okay. Okay.
God said to Cain, the Lord said to Cain, where's your brother Abel? I don't know, he replied. Am I my brother's keeper?
Yeah.
The Lord said, what have you done? Right?
Mm.
What
Mm-hmm.
have you done?
When he
He,
already knew.
he could have said, I killed my brother. Man, I that's a hard confession.
Mm.
What have you done? Verse 10, 4:10 of Genesis. Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Think about that.
Did
The
he bury him?
innocent blood of Abel, right? Which has been spilt on the ground,
Okay.
right? And the
Okay.
ground is drinking the blood of this innocent man. And yet the blood still is crying out to God. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It's crying out to God. And it doesn't say what it's saying. It's just crying out to God. Now we can speculate here as well. If the blood of Abel is crying out to God, what do you think the blood of Abel is saying? Where it says the life of the soul is in the blood. What do you think his blood is communicating? What is he saying? Got any guesses as to what you think his blood is saying?
He wants to inform God that he was killed by his brother.
That could be
That I-
one, right?
that
Or
I already knew.
God, my brother just killed me.
punished Abel.
Yeah, Lord, pay him back for what he did to me.
Yes.
You know, I'm innocent, Lord. I didn't do anything wrong to him, but he
Uh-huh.
killed me anyway. So, yeah,
Yes.
there could have been a lot of words like that coming out of the blood of Abel. We can talk about it some more in our next session, but that's as far as we can go. All right?
Thank you, Pastor Bert.
Hopefully, you guys are getting a better perspective on life and your life with God.
Oh, yes.
On that note, let's close in prayer.